may I just say that this is the literal definition of polishing a turd. Like, the expression polishing a turd exists to describe this brief.
Have you ever received a brief like this? Over to you, Tiffany.
Thank you. So I get this one a lot. It's not like a once-off. It's a regular. And it goes like this. I wrote this using AI. Please use it as the basis for your work. Please charge me less because I did all the prep for you. And please return something that looks original and human.
Wow. I haven't received, I've done this with AI, but I can pick up when people have.
Yes.
No,
at least your clients are being upfront about it.
They're only being upfront about it because they think the quote's going to be significantly lower since they did all the work. Now, may I just say that this is the literal definition of polishing a turd. Like, the expression polishing a turd exists to describe this brief. Because when you have to work with somebody else's badly prompted AI output, the job is going to take you longer than if you just wrote it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Simple truth.
So what is your response when you get that brief?
So my response is usually some version of my AI policy, which is, this is what I will do using AI, this is what I won't do. And one of the things that I won't do is work off your prompts, like off output you have generated using prompts that are not mine. I've spent the last 3 years getting shit hot at prompting the LLM to give me what I want. And I'm not using mediocre mush that you got from some half-assed effort. But I also explained to the client, the thing that makes all the difference is I explained to them that I charge 1.5 times the project rate if they are giving me AI input instead of human input.
That's a good policy to have, actually.
That'll change things. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
Let's be honest, AI's made everyone think that they can write. And it has made everybody write, but now everybody writes like shit. So,
correct.
Yeah.
So that's, go for it, Shay. I'm excited to hear yours.
So often, my briefs are literally very, very, very brief and will just say, write an article about this, and that's it. One line. Okay, I have no idea who I'm targeting with this. I have no idea what the call to action is. What are we trying to achieve with this? And that is a brief I get a lot. I'm guessing you guys probably do too. Just write about this.
Yeah.
Another one I got recently was, I'm needing some very fresh write-ups for the following clients. Website. Both are distinctly different and you would need to treat the copy as such. Okay, doesn't... Go forth, dear writer. And
what does that
mean?
Like, what does that mean? I don't. What? Like, that doesn't. I don't understand.
Don't understand. Yeah, needless to say. And then this isn't a brief, but another bugbear I have when it comes to briefing is when the writer, and we're talking writers because we're all writers, but this, whatever industry it applies to, where you're expected to kind of be the starting point, the strategist, the creative lead on everything. So, for example, a video script. Cool, I can write a video script, but am I going to talk to someone who actually has an idea of cinematography and what's involved so that we can produce a product together instead of me just coming up with things because it's the easiest start? And I think it's quite a lazy approach, and I see that quite a lot too, even with website copy, where you have no discussions with a designer, or you've just been briefed and it's been quite a generic brief, and it's like, okay, writer, make it up. And to be honest, I do end up spending probably about 50% of my job doing those kind of things, but I feel like there's definitely a missed step in terms of collaboration and creativity when it's all falls on the writer just because it's an easy start.
Yeah.
So those are mine.
That's where I differ, because obviously I do know everything and I prefer to just be in charge of the script right from the word go. Like, don't tell me what to do, because tell me the objective and then give me free rein, because one of the most annoying things about word briefing for me is, here's free rein, create this thing, this is what the objective is, and that's literally the brief, and we trust you And then when you produce the deliverable, they're like, no, this is not really what we had in mind. We were actually thinking more along these lines than to fucking tell me at the briefing stage.
Was in your
because I
mind.
didn't ask you.
Yeah.
So
Not
get,
a mind reader. Not a mind reader.
I can read minds to a degree. If I've been working with you for a long time, I know that people, who are not in the field and who don't often write briefs struggle to describe what they're looking for. And I've kind of got quite good at reading between the lines. But if you are a creative agency and you're using an outsourcing to a freelancer, or you're a marketing at a corporate and you are employing a freelancer, you have to know like what the absolute bare bones that we need are. One that I do get quite a lot is from I write a lot in the AI sector, and I like to give me like a topic, like what is the optimal framework for generative AI tools for the finance industry? We want 1,300 word article. And I have to, I usually interview a subject matter expert, but that's usually the brief. That's the topic. The article is going to be X. You're interviewing the subject matter expert tomorrow. We need 7 questions to inform this article by the end of the day. And I'm like, okay, but what part of this, like, what's the angle? Like, it's a very large topic. What do you want me to speak to this dude about? Like, you're wasting his time and mine. And another one I do get quite often is, here's a website that we've designed. Please insert copy to fit the design of the website.
Yes. Been there. Here's a website with horrible lorem ipsum or with our shit copy from our old website. Please write copy that fits exactly into the wireframe with no other information provided. Yes.
Just use
you know what I get?
To inform the new copy. Yeah.
Do you ever get the please plagiarize my competitor's website, which can be found here?
Yes.
But it can't look or sound like, I don't know what I want, but I want exactly this, except with our name on it. And Google mustn't blacklist us. I used to get that a lot. I don't get it so much anymore, but I used to get we are basically Uber. Just copy the Uber website, but make it sound not like Uber.
We really love Apple's brand, and we want to come across in the same way. Like, everyone wants to be Apple.
No, fuck. No, that for me would be like
flag for you.
Yeah. The minute you come to me and you say, we really love Coca-Cola, like Apple, Nando's, and pick another one, like I don't know, like Oatly milk substitutes overseas, all of which have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on brand voice. We really want to sound like that. Here's 20 grand. No, fuck off.
Well, you get that. I want to sound like Apple. Okay, so where is your brand guideline? And then they send you through the design, the
CI guideline. Yeah.
These are our Pantones. Okay.
Exactly. I'm like, do you have a brand voice guide? Yes, we do. Here are our logos in all the different formats.
Yeah. Oh, no.
It feels like we could bitch about briefs all day.
Yeah, I could.
So what are we doing about it?
Okay, I have a solution. Pick me. So
yes, go to
here's the thing, creative freelancer listening to the Freelance Life. The brief is your responsibility. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. The client either won't give you one because they're lazy or can't give you one because they do not know how. 90% of my clients are not agencies. 90% of my clients are corporates who have never given a brief in their lives. So the onus is on me to expect that they will not be able to give me one and to build into my process the taking of one. Okay, so in my sort of language, I don't talk about giving me a brief. I say to the client, we need a meeting so that I can take the brief from you. And I do this usually after scoping stage. So there is an element of it in scoping. Sorry, I'm holding a tissue, which is not really very classy
Better than
when you're on video.
Better than holding
the
a
alternative.
Yeah, it's depending on the venue. We had to watch you eat in between episodes.
Oh, you got another one. Good.
Right. And moving on. So the thing that freelancers need to bear in mind is that the onus is on you to take the brief. You can't blame a shitty brief. Your job is to take the brief. And so you have to be equipped yourself in order to do this. And I have a host of things. I have templates, I have questionnaires, and I have a facilitated process. And I'll use either one or a blend of those things in order to help me to take a brief. Because it doesn't actually take a lot to elicit a decent brief from them if you know what you need. But it does take a lot to make a shitty brief into a decent brief. So beggars can't be choosers, but try and create an environment where you as the freelancer anticipate taking the brief yourself. And then let's say, I mean, it does happen, and it happens more often than it used to, that a client will engage me and I'll be all ready to take a brief, and then they will present me with a brief that is so much more meaty and comprehensive and nuanced than what I would have taken from them, that I'm like blown away by, the effort the client went to tell me what they wanted. So sometimes you do get surprised, but that's my advice.
Yeah, that works well for me too. So Google Forms is a game changer because then you can just pop them a link, and then you've also got them all saved in one place. So I do like a Google Form questionnaire. Then I also find if it's a particularly meaty project, it does help to use that questionnaire and then dig a little deeper on a face-to-face or face-to-face, online call, whatever, based on the information that they've already given me. So for meatier projects, that's kind of how my process works.
The other thing that's quite helpful is to say to them, here's what I've done for clients with similar requirements, or here's what I've done for, do you like this or do you not like this? Does this resonate? Or to give them a sense, especially if they're real green clients, to give them a sense of what's possible helps them to concretize in their minds what they want and what they don't.
Good idea.
I think a lot of clients are like, they're not sure what they want. They'll know it when they see it. And so, that's providing examples does help. I tend to jump on a call, record the call, and then shove the transcript in ChatGPT into a brief, and then say, is this what you're looking for?
Do you come prepared with questions, or do you kind of wing it as you go?
I do have a set of standard questions that I will that I'll ask. I mean, there's certain specific questions. I've actually got my briefing form up here. What is the word count? What is the narrative voice? Is it a we, us, or a third person? What is the tone? Do you have a brand persona? Or am I making one up as we go along? Which is scary how often I do, because, not many companies have got a consistent brand voice. Target audience, what's the objective of the piece? Is it sales engagement, technical education, whatever? And then for me, the biggest two kind of the most important are, what is the main message? Like if a person has to put this piece of content down and walk away and only remember one thing, what is that one thing going to be? And do you have any kind of secondary messages that need to come through to support that message? So that's kind of my basic standard brief. But like I say, I think that I find my clients, because I work with a lot of like nerds and technical people and engineers, they don't like filling in anything creative because they have to think too hard. So it's easier to jump on a call with them. And
I do almost all of my brief taking virtually in a facilitated way. But I do send out a questionnaire at the beginning. It's not really a briefing questionnaire. It's more of a scoping questionnaire. And I ask things like, I never ask a word count question because they never know. So they always just say to be confirmed or not applicable or whatever you think. But I'll say things like, how many people are going to be involved in sign off? Is there one contact person or multiple contact people? Do I have to do any interviews? Do I have to do info gathering and material review? Will you be sending me a folder of 400,000 things? Has this been attempted before? That's a big one that I ask, because very often I'm the writer who gets called in to fix the fuck up. So it really helps me to know what they really didn't like last time. Have you seen anything that tonally you really like? Have you seen anything tonally in your industry that you really don't like? And then the objective question. So not the what do you want the audience to know, what is the takeaway, it's what do you want them to do next. Is it phone you? Is it believe? Is it buy? Is it be impressed? What is the actual overriding objective of this thing? And
Just want to add one
call to action.
If they can't answer, then they need to have a little bit of a think and then come back to me. Yeah. The other thing is also that you can gauge a client's seriousness about the project based on whether or not they're prepared to put in some work. And it's a huge red flag for me if I send through my questionnaire, the first one, the original one, and the client says we don't have time to fill in the questionnaire. Well, then you also don't have time to process my deposit, so we're not a fit.
Yeah. Also, if it's urgent until you send them something to do, clearly not all that urgent. Something I just wanted to also point out is, I mean, this briefing process can be quite involved, intense, and lengthy. So I think it's always important to present an estimate up front so that you know you're not wasting your time taking a brief if they can't afford what you're going to be quoting post-brief or post-scope or whatever.
So I go, client, let's say it's a brand new client. So let's say it's not a regular or somebody that, but let's say it's a new client and they approach me via my website and say, I get this one very often, how much is a website? Okay. So in response to that email, I usually go, got a template, of course, which says, thanks so much for your inquiry about web copy. In terms of costing, I prefer to quote your project rate, but in order to do that, I will need to scope the job in a very high level way. Please complete the 5 questions in this Google form link. However, should you wish to see my standard rate card and my T's and C's, these are attached. Now, the reason I do that up front is because if they're going to be scared off by my rate card, we're not a fit. If they're not prepared to fill in my 5 questions, not a fit. And if my T's and C's, which clearly say 50% up front, no kill fee, no strike fee, and no samples, are going to scare them, then bye, have a nice day. I'm not here to negotiate. Those are the terms. It took me so many years to be brave enough. Yeah, but it took me years to be brave enough to put all that in the first email.
Yeah.
What if they don't like me? What if they don't use me? What if I...
Anyway. But I think it does take a few years to get a sense of, you need to know what those red flags doesn't fit look like before you can put those things in place. So I think there is a bit of a learning involved too for what works for you before you can put those guardrails in. I mean, hopefully people do it quicker than probably most of us end up
10
doing.
years. Yeah. Look, I mean, all the lessons that took me like 8 years to learn, you can probably learn in like 8 weeks if you're concentrating. But I was only 25 when I started and know what I was doing. So there you go.
As a final takeaway, top 3 things that a brief should include. I don't know if that's too little, but is there like a top 3?
I'm going to throw in one. And I'll say target audience is my favorite.
It's the one you cannot do without. And it's also, they can't say everyone.
Yeah.
They love going, it's everyone. No, it's not everyone. Target audience, definitely. If there's a concrete milestone, like if you are heading for a launch function and all this stuff has to be in place prior to that function, which is already set for the X of April, tell me this up front. Deadline, like if there's a concrete milestone or a series of concrete milestones that the deadline will affect, I need to know that up front. A third one. I don't know, Shay, have you got a third one?
I'd say, like the purpose, the goal, the message. I mean, those are all one in the same
outcome,
thing. But what are we trying to achieve here? The outcome. Yeah.
What does a win look like for you? Client. What does a win look like? How will you know that we've nailed this? Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Cool. We want to hear from you. What are your top 3 things that you want in briefs? And if you have any really shitty briefs, take out the client, because nobody wants to know who your clients are. We're not naming and shaming here. But if you had a really shitty brief, please share it with us in the comment, because we do need a laugh. And we need a little steam because, we get our fair share of shitty briefs. So pop those in the comments and we will see you in the next episode.